Here's what we'll tackle today. We'll find the x-intercept using this super easy cover-up method. Then we'll get the y-intercept the same way. Then we'll explain why the cover-up method works. And if you're up for a little extra brain workout, stick around. We'll unlock a bonus challenge at the end. Find the x-intercept and the y-intercept without graphing. Don't get to use this guy. So if we're looking for the x-intercept, we know that y is 0 always for the x-intercepts. All we have to do is find out what x is. And all we have to do is cover up the y term and then solve. Don't forget the minus sign here is part of the y term, so we have to cover that up as well. Okay. So that leaves us with 4x equals 12. I bet you know how to solve that equation, right? 4 times x, how do we undo that? Divide by 4. Do the same thing to both sides. Balance. And x equals 3. How easy was that, folks? Okay, so an x-intercept is a point, so we need both x and y, right? X is y, x is 3 and y is 0. All right, what about the y-intercept? We know that x is 0 in that case, so we just need to find y. How do we find y? We cover up the x part, just focus on the y, and remember, the minus sign here is part of the y term, so we have to leave it in there. So what equation do we have now? Another really easy equation, all right? Negative 3y equals 12. Divide both sides by negative 3. Negative 3's cancel. Right? And let's cancel out those 4's over here. That we did before. And then positive divided by a negative is negative. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So if the sign is negative, we have negative 4. And then a y-intercept is a point, so we need 0 and negative 4. Okay. That was also pretty easy, huh? So why can we get away with this really easy cover-up method? Well, let's talk about the math a little bit real quick. So in this case, let's use the graph as a visual help here. So for an x-intercept, the y is always 0. Why is that? What does the x-intercept mean? It's when it crosses this x-axis, right? So no matter what, where we are with x, y is always 0, right? So if we replace y with 0 in this equation, 3 times 0 is 0, or I should say negative 3, right? Times 0 is 0. That term turns to 0, which means it essentially disappears. So we can just cover it up. Right? What about the y-intercept? That is when we cross the y-axis, right? So what is the x value? It's always 0 whenever we're crossing the y-axis, right? So that means x is 0, 4 times 0 is 0. That whole term goes away. So that's why it works. Okay, great job. Now that we've nailed down the intercepts, let's see if you're up for a bonus challenge. Remember, it's completely optional, but it's a fun way to practice and really enforce what we've learned today. Here is your challenge. Share your intercepts in the comments below. And while you're there, give this video a like. Don't forget to subscribe for more like this.